the candidate for the People's Party of Canada in this riding, Moose Jaw Lake Centre Lanigan, Mr. Jay Drake.
How's everyone today?
Great. Thanks, Jake.
I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Jay Craig. I'm the People's Party of Canada candidate in Moose Jaw Lake Centre Lanigan. I sure didn't see myself as a politician. I never thought I'd be here. But as things get worse in Canada, seemingly every minute, I can't sit back and take it. I will make you one promise today. I promise to be the loud and vocal voice for you and for this riding. No longer will there be an empty suit in Ottawa. I will stand for what is right, and I will stand for you. The degradation of Canadian society has been progressing at a breakneck speed. This is not something I can let be passed on to future generations. I couldn't live with myself knowing that I hadn't fought for my kids and for our future and for all generations, sitting back and not getting Canada back on course. I have a few questions for you today. Do you feel like your current MP has been representing you? Are you sick and tired of not having been heard in Ottawa? Are you satisfied with the current government? No. Are you satisfied with the current opposition? No. If we want something different, we need to stand up and choose something different. This is truly a grassroots movement of the people, working together to fight this evil globalist agenda that is taking over our world. The People's Party of Canada will stand with you. We will fight with you. Everything we believe in and all of our party's platform is based on the founding principles of individual freedom, personal responsibility, fairness, and respect. Your People's Party of Canada government will not use fear and propaganda to push bigger, more authoritarian controls and mandates on the people. We believe that you should be the head of your household as God intended, with Him at the center, and that you know what is best for your family and not the government. I'm going to rant with you for a minute.
Go for it.
This segregation and separation in our society is not okay.
No.
These vaccine passports and mandates are not okay. These vaccine passports are China's social credit system. I'm not okay with a show me your papers society. We had a mother stop by the office just yesterday, afraid for her kids. Not afraid because of a virus. Afraid because of the harms, or not afraid of the harms that are caused by masking mandates on our kids, but afraid for her kids. Afraid that they would not let her into the school on opening day because of safety. This is not okay. It's not okay that our government is taking control of our families. We believe that you know what is best for your family. I can tell you that I know what's best for mine. Unlike the current Conservative government pushing puppy mills as the most important thing in Canada, not okay. I believe that we need our individual freedoms back, that you have personal responsibility, that you have the choices to make for your family, and the government needs to get out of the way. Your People's Party of Canada government will not impose a carbon tax. We do not believe that any amount of taxation, money stolen from the taxpayers and hardworking people of this country, will have any effect on the atmosphere. Our government, the People's Party of Canada government, will get rid of these ridiculous firearms laws. We will get rid of everything that Trudeau has implemented through orders in council, random things based on looks, not on function. We will bring proper gun control, which is none, back to Canada. I'm also here to tell you that the People's Party of Canada is promising you nothing. We need to get this country back on track. We need to get our economy back on track. We need to get people working. We need to let people make decisions on their own. I'm telling you that we must do this. We have to. The time is now. You need to tell your friends and family. You need to talk to everybody. You can't sit back idly any longer. We need to do this. Thank you very much. To introduce to you the People's Party of Canada leader, Maxime Bernier.
Hello everybody, how are you? Yeah, can be better, you're right. You are here today because like me, like Shay, like a lot of our fellow Canadians, we know that freedom is the fundamental value that draws us together. Freedom is nothing less than the basics of our Western civilization. And only in a free society is there human dignity, equality of rights, and economic prosperity. What makes our country a prosperous country and a great place to live is that that country has been for a century and a half one of the freest society in the world. But we are losing our rights and freedoms at a rapid pace. Our traditional Western civilization values are fast eroding. We cannot, and that's sad, we cannot take for granted our freedom anymore. And if this trend does not reverse, we can all say goodbye to our way of life. I'm here today because, like you, I'm mad. I'm not happy. I'm mad, and yes, you can call me Mad Max. I'm mad because our country, identity, our freedoms are under attack by the liberals, by the conservatives who promote the COVID hysteria and impose lockdowns and now a vaccine passport on us. And I'm mad because I'm looking at our Prime Minister that's supposed to unite us. But Trudeau is the most divisive Prime Minister in our history. He has divided us by race, by gender, by religion, and now by vaccination status. And you, I think, know that. Yesterday, Trudeau said those Canadians who decided freely not to take the vaccine are putting their kids and other kids at risk. I have a strong message for Mr. Trudeau. Mr. Trudeau, you are putting our kids and our country at risk. We don't want more and more socialism, and sorry, we don't live in a communist country. Trudeau wants us to believe that a proof of vaccine will protect us from spreading the virus. But the virus does not care if you are vaccinated or not. Everybody can spread the virus. And that's a lie, another lie, telling unvaccinated Canadians that they are dangerous. They are not dangerous. They're only strong Canadians that decided freely not to take the vaccine. And we, the PPC, we believe in freedom, so we believe in freedom of choice. Everybody must be free to decide if they want the vaccine or not. Everybody must be free to decide if they want to wear a mask. That's a free society. But now, Trudeau and O'Toole, both of them, wants to impose vaccine and vaccine passport on us based on false information. After more than a year, we have the information about COVID-19. We have the data and the statistics. We know that that virus is dangerous for older people with comorbidities. Actually, 80% of our deaths here in our country are older people with comorbidities. And a lot of them were more than one comorbidities. And like for me, a man, 58 years old, if I have COVID, my chances of dying from COVID are 0.5%. So my chances of surviving from COVID are 99.5%. That's why I decided not to take the vaccine. But I respect other Canadians that decided to have the vaccine. They told us, if you take the vaccine, it is to protect yourself and also your family and your community. That's right, if you have the vaccine, you can have COVID-19, but you'll have mild symptoms, but also you can spread the virus like me. And if you decided not to take the vaccine, that must not put you in a different position than all the other Canadians. We don't want to divide our society. We don't want segregation and discrimination. We just want to unite all Canadians under the freedom umbrella. Everybody must be free in this country. And now that's not the case. And now that's not the case, because yesterday, that was a sad day for Quebecers. Because in Quebec right now, the vaccine passport is enforced. So if you want to go to a restaurant, a baseball game, or theater, to go to cinema, to see a movie, you will have to have your vaccine passport. But if you want to go to church, you won't need a vaccine passport. So what that is telling me, all that is not based on science. It's based on compliance, on government control. There's no logic. There's no logic. Why I will be able to go to my church and I won't be able to go to a restaurant? There's no logic in that. I can tell you why. Because I believe that the church in Quebec, they were able to do a good lobby to the Quebec government, and they were successful. So now we have two classes of citizens, vaccinated one that will have more rights than others. And, you know, everybody must be able to live in a society where you don't have to show your papers. Now we are living in a society in Quebec, and that will be the same in Ontario, and that will come here everywhere across the country, because Justin Trudeau said that he would give $1 billion to provinces to be sure that they will implement the vaccine passport. $1 billion that we don't have, borrowed money to put more restrictions on our rights. That will happen everywhere across this country. And that's why when Justin Trudeau is traveling across the country, there are some Canadians that are not happy. And I received a call from a journalist about that, because journalists called every leader, and that time they wanted to have our point of view about what is happening when Justin Trudeau is traveling. And all the other leaders, including Aaron O'Toole, condemned these people that were there to protest. And when they called me, I said, I believe in freedom. I believe in freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, and these people have the right to say what they believe peacefully, and my understanding is they're doing that peacefully. And they went on and tried to put me in a corner as a bad leader, because, you know, I didn't, and I won't condemn that. Trudeau, it's because of Trudeau that these people are not happy and are mad. It's because of what he did to our country. When I said before that he's dividing us into race and religion, and I'll give you an example of a new program that Trudeau put forward a couple of months ago. A program for black entrepreneurs only for black entrepreneurs. That's racial politics. We don't want that. We will abolish that program, and if we want to have a program to give subsidies to entrepreneurs, it will be for all entrepreneurs. And I believe Canadians are tired of the political rectitude, when they're doing identity politics or racial politics. I'll give you another example. It's so important for the woke culture and for the mainstream media, that woke culture and being sure what is the color of your skin, and what is your religion, and what is your gender. We received questions from journalists from CBC every election. And in 2019, they called us and they asked us all these questions. And they did the same thing this election. The question, and the journalist that was a lady from CBC, and she called the last week, and she said, how many black candidates do you have? How many Jewish candidates do you have? How many Muslim candidates do you have? How many LGBT candidates do you have? And all these kind of questions. So we said, we don't know. And she called back 2 days later and she said, you know, all the other parties gave me their answers on all these questions. So I will publish my paper tomorrow. Do you have the answer of my questions? And we said again, we don't know. And she asked, why? We said, because we don't care. We don't care. The most important for us, our candidate must be like your candidate, Shay. They must believe in our country. They must believe in our principles, individual freedom, personal responsibility. That are the Western civilization principles and values. And they must believe in a smaller government in Ottawa that will give more autonomy to your province and to all the other provinces. Because we at the PPC, we have faith in you. We have faith that you have the ability, the dignity, and the right to make your own decisions and determine your own destiny. We don't believe in a big fat government that will tell you what to do with your life and that will try and to impose a vaccine passport and more draconian measures on you. We are the only national political party that is against that. It's a little bit sad that the Conservative Party of Canada, and I don't know how many, I know it, how many MPs that in your province here in Saskatchewan, your Conservative MPs, they were not there when that crisis started. They were silent, and they are still. They have to throw the party line. The party line for O'Toole is no to vaccine passport, and they know that they have a candidate in Yukon in the beginning of the campaign that said strongly that he is against the vaccine passport. And what happened to him? O'Toole said, I don't want to see you anymore. You're not our candidate. And he said, if the Conservative candidates and MP, the one that will be elected, if they are against the party line, they won't be part of the Conservative Party anymore. Do you want somebody like that for your representative? No, and you have a choice. You have a choice between all these traditional political parties that are the same on the most important issues for your province and for the country. Like she said, they want to impose a carbon tax. Every one of them. Aaron O'Toole also. We won't impose a carbon tax. We won't sign the Paris Accord. We will let provinces do that. And O'Toole said that he's a conservative, but the Conservative Party of Canada is only conservative in name. Only in name. I'll give you an example. 2 days ago, O'Toole said that he will balance the budget in 10 years. But we know that he's asking you, the voters, to give him a 4 years mandate. So, and he will balance the budget in 10 years. And he said yesterday he will do that without cuts. Without cuts. So, I can tell you that he's saying the same thing that Justin Trudeau said a couple of years ago, that the budget balanced itself. O'Toole think that the budget balanced itself. We will tell him that no, it's not that. You must have the courage of your conviction, and you must be able to say to Canadians that yes, you will have to cut. You will have to cut the CBC, $1.2 billion. You will have to cut foreign aid because we want to save $5 billion, and actually we are working for Canadians and we are putting our country first, not the UN, not the World Health Organization. So yes, we are the only party that is against globalism and all these globalists. And I can tell him also, he can cut corporate welfare. We can save between $5 and $10 billion there. Do you really believe that it's fair to tax a small business here and forcing that entrepreneur to pay taxes, and after that we are giving that to Bombardier and GM and SNC-Lavalin? No, it's not fair. So we can balance the budget, and our commitment is to balance the budget in 4 years. We will do that without increasing your taxes, by cutting all these expenses that we cannot afford. But also, I'm telling you, I don't try to please you. I know that we are paying a lot of taxes. I know that you wish to pay less taxes, but I cannot say that. We will lower your taxes the second term. After the first 4 years, we will be able to lower your taxes, because we don't want to do that with borrowed money. That's irresponsible. That would be your children and grandchildren that will pay for it. And then all the same on also the monetary policy. That's important. We have inflation right now in Canada. We are losing our purchasing power. Our standard of living is going down. Because if you do your grocery, there's about 4, 5, 6% of inflation there. We are paying right now for that huge deficit of $354 billion. So 20% inflation is no good, 10% inflation is no good, 2% or 3% inflation is no good. We want you to keep your purchasing power. And to do that, we need to have an agreement with the Bank of Canada to tell the bank not to print money out of thin air that is going to inflation. And we'll ask the bank to have a zero target inflation. Like that, everybody will keep their purchasing power and will increase our standard of living. So this election, it's about them and the PPC. We, I believe, Canadians, need our voice in Ottawa. But we need your support. And when tyranny becomes law, revolution becomes our duty. And we are starting a common sense revolution together. They don't want to cover us because they're afraid. They know that what we are saying based on facts, truth, and science, it's very well received with Canadians. And it's very powerful. So they are canceling us. That's why I need you. I need your help. Be active on social media because there's a lot of Canadians right now that don't know that we exist, that don't know that the PPC is there for them. But not only on social media, also in the real life. We have 300,000 people who voted for the PPC at the last election. If every of these voters find 10 more voters, we will have 3 million votes, and if we have 3 million votes, we will be at 16% in the poll. So we need you, and I believe that all together we can do that fight, we can win that fight, and we know that we are living in a socialist era right now. The leftists, the woke, the radical, environmentalists, they're everywhere. In our school, our universities, journalists are not journalists anymore, they're leftist activists, everywhere. So it's a big fight and I need you. I need you because I believe that like me, you are proud Canadians. And like John F. Diefenbaker once said, it was an important and a very actual quote when he said that. And I want to quote him on that. He said, I'm a Canadian, a free Canadian, free to speak without fear, free to worship in my own way, free to stand for what I think right, free to oppose what I believe wrong, and free to choose those who shall govern my country. That's John Diefenbaker. He said that, and today I believe that Canadians must have that quote in their mind. They are free to speak without fear. The cancel culture is everywhere, you know, and now Trudeau wants to impose a Bill C-36, that would be more censorship on social media. We will fight, and that bill must not come in force. That's not in our country. We have too much censorship on social media by the big techs and after that by the government. So that's why it's a revolution, a freedom revolution. And we will win that battle. And the 20th of September, I can tell you that you'll have a freedom voice in Ottawa that will fight for you. I may not be Prime Minister tomorrow, that's okay, but step by step we'll be there. And it's too important today because we are losing our country. We need to save our country from these totalitarian politicians and woke that try to change our culture. You know, it's sad that I was the only leader of a national party in Ottawa the 1st of July celebrating our Canada Day. They are saying that we must not be proud to be Canadians. But I was proud to be there the 1st of July to celebrate our heritage, to celebrate our culture, to celebrate our history. You know, the culture here in Saskatchewan is different than the culture in Quebec and the culture in Ontario, but that's our country. And we must celebrate that. We must be open to immigration, but we are not open to mass immigration. We want sustainable immigration. We want people that will come here because they share our Canadian values. So, at this election, like I said, the choice will be clear. But please, please don't tell me I don't want to split the vote. You know, there's no way to split the vote. Because who's splitting the vote? That is Aaron O'Toole. He is splitting the Liberal votes. They're leftists. That's why I call them the Lib-Con party. They're all together. And when Aaron O'Toole is speaking like Justin Trudeau, he is not a conservative. But worse of that, he is giving a lot of credibility to the leftist narrative. We need to stop that. And the only way to do that is to support the PPC. But you won't have, and people who are saying, I don't want to split the vote, but the people who are saying that, it's because they don't want a Liberal to be elected in Saskatchewan. But do you really believe that Trudeau will be able to have a Liberal elected here? I don't believe so. So there's no split of vote here in Saskatchewan. So don't vote against something, against Trudeau. Don't vote against your own values. Vote for something. Vote for what you believe. Vote for yourself. And there's another option also there. I will be very short on that one. That's the Maverick Party. I believe that that's not serious. When you have a leader that is an interim leader and won't run in a general election, and that leader is telling you that he wants to be like the Bloc Québécois, but do you know that in Western Canada there's more than 100 seats, and he will have only 30 candidates, 30 seats, 30 candidates on more than 100? You must ask the question why. Why? Because he's working with the Conservative Party of Canada. He is the puppet of the Conservative Party of Canada. He doesn't want to hurt the Conservative. That's why he decided to have only 30 candidates here in Western Canada. But I'm telling, if you are fed up with Ottawa, if you want to have more autonomy, you must look at our platform and vote for us, because we want a radical decentralization that will give more power to your province and all the other provinces. But also, if you are very tired of Ottawa and you think about the separation, you must vote for a separatist party at the provincial level. That's what happened in Quebec. The Bloc Québécois did nothing to promote the independence in Quebec. That was the PQ, not the Bloc Québécois. So, if you are a separatist, you must vote for the PPC, because we are the last chance. And we are the only party that will build pipeline, say no to the equalization formula. That is unfair. And we are saying no also to the Paris Accord. But we are your last chance at the federal level. And if you are a strong Canadian and you want to save your country like me, we are your only voice also. So what I'm saying, don't waste your votes with the Maverick. You know, vote at the provincial level for another party that will share the same views that the Maverick. But right now it's about our country, it's about you, it's about your province, and I understand that you're very fed up with politicians in Ottawa that don't want to have discussion about your important issues. Aaron O'Toole won't speak about the equalization formula. He won't tell you that that formula must change and be less generous to give the right incentive to other provinces to develop their own natural resources. He won't tell you that. And Justin Trudeau won't do anything. So we need to have that conversation. And you will have PPC candidates elected, yes, in Western Canada, but also in Eastern Canada. All these candidates will say the same thing about pipelines, equalization, and all these candidates will be out there to promote these ideas and policies, because we have that vision for this country where the best government, we know it's a government in Ottawa that will be smarter, but a government at the provincial level that will have more autonomy for you. The best government is the government that is near the people. So that's why you know better, and people here in Saskatchewan know better what they want. So your provincial government must have more authority and more power, and we must respect the Constitution. And by respecting the Constitution, you will have a radical decentralization, and that will solve a lot of problems in this country. That's why we believe in this country, we believe in our Constitution. We don't need to change the Constitution, we just need to respect it. But now you have in Ottawa politicians, that don't respect the Constitution. For the last 18 months, they violated our rights and our freedoms, and they interfere in provincial jurisdiction. And these politicians are telling your government here what to do. So that's a revolution that is important for the future of our country. And we are doing that together for us, but for our kids, for our grandkids. And I believe that we will be successful because like John F. Kennedy once said, in the long history of the world, only few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its maximum hour of danger. You are that generation. This is your role, and now is the time. We will do that together. We will defend our freedom against these authoritarian governments that are taking it away from us. We will do it together for the future of our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maxime. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a true... Maxime's willing to take questions for about 10 minutes, and then he will be back in the lobby. There's coffee and snacks, and be willing to take pictures.
Yeah, so, the first question just here.
Hey Max, I'd love to hear more about how you plan on getting off of fiat currency. Are you talking about going back to a gold standard?
Yes, first of all, that must be step by step. We have a fiat currency, you're right, the Canadian dollars, the American dollars, and so because the Bank of Canada is able to print money out of thin air. So what we must do, the first step is to have a zero inflation target. Like that, the Bank of Canada won't be able to create money out of thin air. They will have to keep our purchasing power. The next step is to have a gold standard. That will be the best. We had that in the 19th century, and we had a lot of prosperity at that time. Yes, you're right. I believe in that. The other one? Yes.
Yes. In your platform, after your first bullet point, one of the things you say is discrimination. None of the other parties have talked about it at all. And that is in regards to the vaccine pass and mandate, is an attack on people with disabilities.
Yes.
I have a vaccine card. It's useless because it's going to be QR code I can't fly, I can't go to a sporting event, I can't even go to a restaurant. If I traveled to British Columbia, I would be attacked by people who don't give a crap. They say they believe in human rights, but what about the human rights of people with disabilities?
Yes. You're absolutely right. I just want to add something on that. You're right by saying the vaccine passport has a due date, an expiration date, sorry. And the expiration date is when the government will tell you that you need a third shot, a fourth one. And I believe that all these people that decided to be vaccinated because of the pressure, they won't buy that anymore. So we don't want the support on only people that decided not to have the vaccine. But all these people that decided to have the vaccine, they are coming on board now because they know that they lied to them and they will have to have the third, the fourth, and the fifth shots. I believe that they won't do that. We want to live in a society that you don't have to show any papers to participate in that society. What is your question? Yes, we have a lot of people like you that, people think that our voters. Yeah. No. You're not. And a lot of people like you, that they decided to have the vaccine and they don't want to have all these shots after that. As you know, Justin Trudeau bought for $60 million booster shot until 2024. So we don't want that. But also, we have former conservatives, people that are coming on our side because they know that we are the only real conservative party. But also people who voted NDP, people who voted Liberals, they are coming on us because they can see that this country is going in the wrong direction and they want their freedom back. Yes.
Can you tell me, how can we trust any politician today? Every single one of them have lied to us. Every provincial premier has said, I won't do this, and then they turn around and they make it happen. How do we trust anyone anymore?
You cannot trust them, and I don't trust them, you cannot trust them. About us, I'm not a career politician. I decided to jump into politics at 53 years old after being in the financial sector, working there in Montreal when Stephen Harper asked me to be his candidate for the riding of boats. And I decided to be in politics because I believe in less government and more freedom. And that's what I try to do under the Harper government. So if you look at my videos and what I said 10 years ago, 13 years ago, I'm saying the same thing. I don't have to do a poll to know what you want to know and try to have your vote. I'm not doing that. If you like what I'm saying, I hope you'll vote for me. If you don't like, please vote for another candidate. I don't want your vote. I want to appeal to your intelligence, not to your emotion. So we are doing politics differently. And we are doing politics based on principles. I won't do any compromise with our principles. And what I'm saying today, I said the same thing in 2019 at the last election. That's the same platform, except we just had to update the platform because the last election we said we would balance the budget in 2 years, but now it's impossible. We'll be able to do that in 4 years. But that's the same platform, and in 2025, at the next election, it will be the same platform until our ideas win. We have the best ideas, and the best ideas will win.
Pipeline, I lost my job on the Keystone Pipeline. What are you going to do to bring back the Keystone and restore Canadian jobs?
Great question.
Yeah, so you just need, it's very simple to do that. First of all, you need to pass a legislation, and in that legislation, you say, this pipeline is for the unity and prosperity of this country. When you say that in the legislation, the federal government will have the full authority, the full jurisdiction, and that will be only the federal government that will be able to approve pipeline. We use that clause in the Constitution more than 100 times to build national infrastructures all across this country. So if, for example, if the Quebec government is against the pipeline, they will be able to speak about it and do what they want, but they won't be able to stop the federal government because we will have take the jurisdiction on pipelines. So we must do it, O'Toole won't do it. And actually, when he had a question in French in Quebec 2 days ago, and I'm pretty sure that he won't say that in English because he knows that you won't like it. He said in French 2 days ago about the pipelines, and the question was, Mr. O'Toole, you know that the Quebec government is against pipelines, so what are you going to do? He said, I will do my best to be sure that the Quebec government is on board, and if the Quebec government is not on board, I won't force them, I won't build pipelines. So that's his position. He is pandering to the Quebec government to have votes. It's different. And I'm coming from Quebec, you must say, oh, that's not popular, Bernie. No. People in Quebec know that it's safer to transport oil and gas by pipelines than by trains or trucks. So what I'm telling you is the Quebec government, these politicians at the provincial level in Quebec are listening to the radical leftist environmentalists and not to the Quebecers. So O'Toole is listening to these radical leftist environmentalists and he won't do anything for that. So that's why I hope you won't vote for him, you will waste your vote. So, but that's our position, it's on our website, and if you want to know more about our platform, don't hesitate to go on our website, peoplespartyofcanada.ca, everything is there, and it's very clear. Thank you. Yes?
Max, I've been very puzzled by where did mail-in ballots come from? Because I don't remember them anywhere. We always had scrutineers at the polls, and I hope you have scrutineers at all of your polling stations, and for anybody in Saskatchewan who can volunteer for scrutineering, they should, if that is still the law.
Yeah.
I don't know, things seem to have changed, but these mail-in ballots seem to have come out of nowhere. They cost the election in the States, and I don't want to see it happen here.
Yeah, you have a good point there. First of all, we don't use at the federal level, we never use at the federal level the Dominion machines. So yes, the way that we are doing that is, you have scrutineers, they look at that in every poll and all across the country. And if you want to be a volunteer, if you want to be a scrutineer, you can be. You just have to call the returning officer for Election Canada and you'll be there and you'll be able to check the counting of the ballots. What is happening right now, you have a point there about mailing ballots. Election Canada wants to promote mail-in ballots. And we said no. When I'm saying we, every week Election Canada has a meeting with a representative of every political party. And when they said that, we were the only party that no, we must not do that, we must not promote that. We must be sure that Canadians will be able to vote in person. And so, we'll have another meeting next week about Election Canada about that. I don't know if they will promote that, but I hope they won't. And yes?
Well, do they not have to change an act in the Election Act to allow this?
Yeah, no. So Trudeau tried to do that, tried to change the Election Act before the election, and he wasn't able to do that. Now, if we have, that's a good news, if we have mail-in ballots, it will be the traditional way. But what Election Canada wants to do is to promote that. And we want people to be there in person. And by the way, you won't need to show a vaccine passport to vote. The only thing that Election Canada can ask you is to wear a mask in certain provinces. That's the only thing. They cannot ask you to be vaccinated to vote. It's very important. Everybody will have the right to vote in person, and maybe in some province they will have to wear a mask. But that's the situation right now. Yes?
Can I ask, what is the PPC planning to do to help Indigenous peoples in regard to the national inquiry from 2019 when Canada was found guilty of genocide towards Indigenous women and girls, and in regards to ensuring that all Indigenous communities have at least the very basics in life, including clean water?
You're absolutely right about that. We are sending billions of dollars in other countries when we have people here in Canada that don't have clean water. We'll start by that. That's why I'm saying putting Canadian first and our country first. About the First Nation, I invite you to go on our website. We have a policy on that. There's no systemic racism in this country. The only systemic racism that we have is the Indian Act. It is based on race. We must abolish that, and we will. And also, we want to build a new relationship with the First Nation based on property rights. And I can tell you that I'm very happy and proud that we have 4 candidates that are First Nations. First of all, we didn't ask them, didn't know. They came and they told us that. So I just want to, and I will do in Edmonton, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I'll be in Edmonton and I will do a press conference with them, and we will do a press conference on our policy on First Nation. So that's a great policy. We don't have the answer on everything, but what we want to start that new relationship based on respect, based on property rights, and having a discussion with them. We want them to fully participate in our society. Thank you. Yes?
I just had a question regarding the debate. So you got locked up because of CBC obviously being paid by Trudeau. Is there any path to get on some national stage, whether it is with some alternative media, with Andrew Lawton, True North, or Rebel Media, or would you be open to having something one-on-ones with O'Toole and the Conservatives to really drive that wedge between the Conservatives?
Yeah, I asked, but O'Toole won't come. He won't have a one-on-one. He didn't want to have me on the stage with the other leaders. So, but answering your question, I think it's important. Yes. I hope that you'll watch the debate, because you're going to see 5 leaders that are all the same, and they have a conversation on things that are not so important for the future of this country. They won't speak about the real challenges that we have in this country. So, and also they will try, and they are doing that, to buy your votes with borrowed money. So what I will do, if you watch the debate, I hope you'll have your iPhone just in your hand. And what I'll do, I will tweet my answer, very short, at every question. That will be short and sweet, because as you know, I can answer questions. And you won't have to think twice. What is he saying? No, it will be clear. So that will be fun. I'll do that live during the debate. The other thing about your idea, I will have a conversation with a YouTuber that is very popular, is in Westmont, Montreal. He is one of our candidates, Viva Free, David Fry. So the day after the debate, the 9th of September, I will be with him. I will have a conversation, and we'll have a conversation about the same team that they had a discussion during the debate, the same team, I will, and also will a little bit laugh about, I'm sure that will be fun what they were saying. And we'll have a nice discussion, so stay tuned. I'll do that online, on social media, with Viva Free, David, the day after the debate. And what was the other question? I think that was it. Thanks. Yes?
I have a question about the. Okay. I have a question about the unborns.
Yeah.
And the Judeo-Christian values that
Yeah.
they're removing God from everything. It's kind of, even they want to take it out from all Canada. They want to remove God from all Canada.
Yeah.
And I want to know your thoughts about that.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the question. And yes, we must not have to ask for our freedoms. Our freedoms, it's coming from God. It's us. And on the unborn, we have a policy about that. I said personally that I'm against sex selection abortion. I'm against late-term abortion, personally, but our party doesn't have any position on that subject of abortion because it's a personal, and it's a personal question. It's in line with your conscience. What we will do, contrary to all the other political parties, we will allow that debate in the House. And I think it's not normal that in Canada we don't have any legislation on abortion. We are the only Western countries that doesn't have any legislation on abortion. So we are welcoming pro-life people in our party, and we are welcoming also pro-choice people. And I know that some of our candidates will table a bill on abortion, and our candidates and the parliament and the members of parliament will have to decide, and we'll have a free vote on that. And there's no taboo subject for us, and that one is not a taboo subject. And me personally, like I said, I will vote against late-term abortion and against sex selection abortion. Yes.
What are your personal thoughts on the mRNA gene therapy, also known as the COVID-19 vaccine? Do you think that it's safe for Canadians to take an untested drug like that?
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical expert, there's other medical experts, and what I want people to be able to decide if they want the vaccine or not with the right information, informed consent. And I believe that we didn't have that in our country because the medical experts that have another point of view, they have been cancelled. So that's why we need more discussion, and we need people to know everything about that, and I believe that we don't have all the story about that vaccine. So, I'll take the last one, and after that I'll be with you in front over there, and yes, go ahead. Let's have that discussion together when I'll be in front over there. I'll have that discussion with you just in 5 minutes. I'll take another question. You had a question? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask about, you mentioned about the Constitution.
Yeah.
Pardon my ignorance, but I think maybe Quebec did not sign on to the Constitution.
Yes, you're right.
And out here in Western Canada, by the time we watch election results from Kitts-Manitoba border, we feel that there's misrepresentation, especially in the Maritimes as compared to Alberta. We feel like we don't have a say out here in Western Canada.
Yeah. So what you are saying is all the seats are in Ontario, GTA, and so these politicians try to please these people over there to have their support. So what we need to do, every 10 years, there's a census in Canada about our population, and every member of parliament must represent, on average, 100,000 people. I don't want a member of parliament that is sitting just near me, representing 1 million people, and I will represent only 100,000. So every member of parliament must represent the same number of people, about 100,000. So when the population is increasing, they are putting more seats in the House. We did that 10 years ago. The census is every 10 years. And 10 years ago, here in Western Canada, you had 2 more seats. But why? The problem, you can solve that with the immigration. As I said, we have mass immigration right now in Canada. 400,000 people will come in Canada this year. 400,000 is the population of Nova Scotia every 2 years. We want fewer immigrants. We want 150 maximum every year. So what is happening? All these people, where are they going? Toronto and GTA. So the population is increasing over there, and when there's another census, they have more seats over there. What we must do, we will have fewer immigrants, 150,000, and because our policy will be good for Western Canada, we'll create prosperity here, no carbon tax, yes to pipelines, no to the equalization formula, a change in being less generous, and so our policies are very good for Western Canada and for all the country. That will create prosperity here, and people will move in Western Canada, your population will grow, and you'll have more seats. For example, a lot of Quebecers are working here in Alberta and Saskatchewan. So let's fix the immigration and say no to mass immigration, fewer people, and more opportunity out west. They will come, you have more seats, and you have more entrance. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all for coming. I just want to say that Maxime is the leader of the party. He supports the candidates. The candidates support you. It's all about your vote, your voice. This is a grassroots movement. We can work together. We can take this Canada ours back.
Exactly.
We need your help. We need your support. We have donation and sign-up sheets out front. We'd love to talk you out there. Thank you so much for coming.